You're listening to Inside Real Estate, your source for all things mortgage and real estate related. The show that brings you all the hottest topics and insights directly from those who know it most. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
What is up, everyone? Paul Paslakis, Salvatore Cusmano. Brad could not make it in this morning. We've got Zach Jones in the office, the podcast. Everything's screwed up. Today's show is brought to you by Michigan Weather. Nothing has fucked up more real estate lives more than Michigan Weather. Nothing is more undependably dependable than Michigan Weather. Inside Real Estate is not affiliated in one way or any way with Michigan Weather because we fucking hate it. What's up, everyone?
What's going on?
Welcome to the show, Zach.
Thank you.
How are you, man?
I'm doing great.
So, Zach, what's up? Talking to the mic, Zach. You gotta.
Sorry.
There we go. No, don't worry. So, Zach is part of the Mark Z selling team. For those outside of the state, Mark Z is actually one of the larger names in real estate in our area. So, you've been there for how long?
I've been going on 4 years, so about 3.5 years from me right now.
3.5 years.
Yeah.
So, you've been there for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, Mark was with Keller Williams for a long time, broke off, did the EXP thing now, and he's doing his own thing. He's doing well. He's got a huge fish tank in his office.
Shark Tank, not fish tank.
Shark Tank.
Get it right.
It's literally a shark tank. You guys have sharks. Makes a lot of sense. So, tell the audience, man, how you got into the business. And you recently were featured in Real Producers of Oakland County as a rising star. That you did a whole photo shoot. You look really handsome in it.
Thank you.
It was good. So tell the audience how you got into the business, man.
So I actually knew one of my friends' parents' friends was a property manager, and she said, real estate market was great. I didn't know anything about it. Kind of thought I was going to do the property management thing, but ended up just wanting to sell some homes. So I was a sales rep before I came to real estate. I was selling like beer, but
that's a good sell.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was easy,
Yeah.
but everyone wanted to buy beer, so it wasn't that hard. But I joined Mark because I was interviewing actually at another team in our old KW office.
Got it.
But their strategy was to walk you by Mark Z's office and see everything happening. So many people, it was loud. Everyone's on the phone.
Action.
Yeah. I'm like, but then we walked down to the other end. I'm like, well, there's not much going down here. So I kind of just walked right back over to Mark's office and said, hey, are you guys looking to add someone? And they did. And I started as an inside sales agent right away.
Got it. So, and for the audience that doesn't know, an ISA is basically someone that just bangs out. I mean, because I know Mark, he gets a lot of leads. He does a lot of advertising. He's on billboards. He's on commercials. So he's a good lead generator for the team. And you guys have a really good team and system where your ISAs are probably banging out a lot of calls, and that's probably how you started, right?
Absolutely. So it just literally first 2 weeks, I even remember just being on the team, didn't call anything except for cold calling.
Oh, nice. That's perfect. That's the best way to learn, man.
It was, and being on the phones is new, and it's hard for anyone. Even if you've been in the business 10, 20 years, I think they'll tell you it's hard to get on the phones. Phone's real heavy.
Yeah. I like it personally.
I love it.
Yeah.
So Mark, like you said, he's a marketing machine.
Yeah.
We've got, obviously leads and things coming in, but the main thing for the ISAs and the inside sales agents is to outbound prospect. And generate more leads,
right?
Which is great. I mean, we've been able to match up buyers with our listings before even listing homes and things like that.
That's the good thing about having a big team like that with Mark is you've got a lot of inside action that you don't even have to go outside of the team to get it.
Yeah, like even just the inside sales agents, if I have a buyer and we can't find, like obviously inventory is super low right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's hurting. We can't find the right house. I just kick it back to our inside sales agent, say, hey, I need a house in this neighborhood. I need it to have 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, attached garage, whatever. They're going to call around, try and, make someone see who's going to be selling.
That's interesting, Sal. So
Proactive.
Yeah, so it's like for a real estate agent, that's pretty powerful to have a whole team behind you finding a house for your buyer. And that's also pretty powerful for the buyer, too, to have a team doing that.
Well, yeah, and the team itself being able to list another home. Right.
Exactly.
It is funny. I think that people think within the bounds of what's out there currently, right? Like this is what's listed. There's no homes available.
Yeah.
As opposed to maybe door knocking. Hey, I got a buyer who's interested in your home. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're looking to sell. I mean, they're not in a huge rush. Maybe June later this year we put something together. But it's kind of like one of those things. You never know until you ask or until you call.
So let's go back to this. So you get on the team.
Yep.
You're tasked with making cold calls, which is probably not a comfortable thing to do, right?
Not even a little bit.
So how do you go from that to like graduating to now, you being a rising star and all that?
So for me, in a little bit backstory, so when I started, the inside sales manager, his name's Ryan Warren, still with us, still crushes it, still an inside sales agent. He just started about a month before I did.
Okay.
So, and it was completely new to him. So it was just him and I working for months, like 6 months together, just the two inside sales agents.
Yeah.
And him and I just learned from each other. We sat back to back. If we're making all these calls, we got an objection of something we haven't heard before. All I did was turn around and say, Ryan, what the hell would you have done that?
Yeah.
That guy hung up on me real fast.
Right.
So it's, we just bounced off each other. Obviously Mark too is in the building. So anything that we need or a question, how should I do this? What script should I use on this? He knows it, and he knows it off the back of the hand. Anytime you ask a question, you're getting a lot of value back. It's
funny in our industry, Sal, because like even in our side, the mortgage side, the realtor side, there's not one way to be successful, and I mean that because like if you look at even mortgages, there's inside sales teams that buy leads that do really well. There's guys like us that work strictly on referrals that do really well. There's hybrids that do really well.
Well, but I think it all boils down to one thing, and that's activity, whether it's phone, door knocking, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And like 90%, I mean, there's a few people who have connections or whatever that, got them started where they didn't have to cold call, but like working at Quicken Loans, working at doing this, working at doing that, and picking up the phone and making 200 dials a day sets you up for success because you're going to get told no, you're going to get shopped, you're going to lose deals more often than you're going to win.
For someone getting into real estate, there is no better platform to get you started than a place that provides you an opportunity with leads that you can just bang out on a day-in-day basis, right? You learn a lot real fast.
100%. And obviously, Mark's one of the bigger investors in like things like Zillow and Realtor.com.
Yeah.
He didn't just start that. So
yeah.
He's been doing that for years, which has built up another database. So even like new agents coming on, hey, we're going to get you started, but here's, 2,000 leads that we've got from Zillow in the last, 3 years.
Yeah.
Call down the list. See who the hell hasn't bought. A lot of them have bought. Some are looking with other agents, whatever, but someone in there is going to say yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You just got to call them all until you find them.
So what do you say? Because I've been on both sides. I worked at Quick and I've done inside sales. I've been on the phone a lot in my career, and I actually enjoy it, but it's a much different, you're a shark. You're attacking. You're like closing, you're calling, you're following up, you're creating appointments. So it's labor intensive and it's a lot of fun, to be honest with you. So talk to me about how you walk the line, but because at the same time, those guys, it was tough for me to get over the fact that potentially I was being annoying, right? Or I was bothering them. So for me, it was always I had to humanize myself as quickly as possible, so they didn't think I was just some like phone jockey that's just like attacking them, right?
Talked about that yesterday, actually, a little bit with another agent that was on our team.
Yeah.
She's kind of uncomfortable on the phone. She feels like she's just being annoying and asking a million stupid questions. But what you don't realize is like you need to ask those questions.
Right.
You need to know, or you're not going to be able to help that person.
You got to understand their situation.
100%.
Yeah.
And that comes with asking questions.
Right.
And I think people forget that lead was generated by someone who at some point in their past 3 years or whatever clicked on something about a house.
Yeah.
Right. Entered their info in, took the time to do that.
They had a need at that moment. Yeah.
And we all know, and all other agents know, is when they first click that lead, they're not ready to buy a house that weekend.
No, they're like three months or 2 years out. They're like a million years out. Yeah.
So
especially in the real estate game, it's the sales cycle is much longer.
The nurturing, the follow up, money's in the follow up. Everyone preaches it, and it's true.
Yeah.
And I've found out that easily just from my background as an ISA. Now, even for me, I was an inside sales agent for a year before I ever stepped out, met a client, or showed a house, or went on a listing appointment.
Yeah.
I sat in the office for a year before I went out. I wanted to pretty much learn the language. I didn't know anything about real estate.
That's what? It's funny that you say the language, because that is the reality of like everything's got a different language, right?
Right.
Like when I did leads and I had to learn how to become more of a relationship driven, and I've talked to you about this. It's a different language, so you have to learn and soak up as much information as possible.
Being an ISA is the blocking and tackling of the daily things you have to do as an agent anyways.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
You have to call, you have to follow up, you got to prospect, and that's essentially what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You're just setting appointments for licensed agents.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, I didn't want to go on that appointment because at the time I could get the appointment. I don't know what the hell I was going to say when I got in that door, but we had guys like Kirk Weber, Mark Prinz, and Z. Those are our 3 listing agents that I have and still are with our team today. Each of them sell 100 homes.
Yeah.
I want them to go out there because I know they can get that listing.
Get the listing, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, go handle that.
Go get that.
Yeah.
That's what we need. And then that just fuels all the, incoming more leads, yard sign calls, and things like that for our buyer's agents.
Yeah, you guys have a true team mentality. It's a team.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Mark Z team. And yeah,
Right.
Mark puts himself out there and does a lot of great marketing, and he's a great marketer. But the reality is it's a team, right? How many people do you guys have over there now?
We just actually grabbed 6 more agents. We're in a training cycle right now, which I was supposed to be at, but I decided to hang out with you guys. So.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
So sorry, Mark. But no, Mark, and people don't even think, but he's still in the business. He goes out on those listing appointments. He still, runs around with buyers from time to time.
He pulls his shirt up and gets in the
He
weeds,
does,
right?
and he loves it too. Like even last week, Mark was sitting back calling expired listings with me. And it's hilarious because people still hang up on Mark Z. It's
for sure.
It's
They
nothing.
Don't care.
They don't. Yeah.
Everybody hangs up on everybody. It doesn't matter,
Exactly.
right?
So and he gets in there and he does the same thing with us. He comes back there for an hour or two during the day. I mean, he can't be back there for 4 or 5 hours like we are, but at the end of the day, he's making the same calls with us.
Yeah. So that's a testament. So let me go back to the question. So how many people do you guys have total right now on the team? You know,
Probably about 40, including admin.
Including admin. So it's 40 people.
Yeah.
So, again, there's 2 different models in our real estate game. There's the people that are like, might have 1 or 2 people, they're teamed up, they do and that's a great model. But in your model, it's much more team oriented, it's lead systems. It's more complicated, to be honest with you, when you have to create this huge ecosystem of lead flow and transfers and all this other stuff. So it's complicated for Z to put all that together.
100%. And that goes just into your systems, and the agents talk about it all the time. And Mark has done such a good job in the last, he's been in business, I think, 17 years, but I've been there obviously 3.5, and all of our systems, nothing's changed.
Right.
So, I mean, we've added things and tweaked things here and there with marketing, but at the end of the day, we have a strict process when a lead comes in and how it's handled.
Yeah.
And, if you're following up and doing your job, then you don't have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we give out everything. Everything's open. Our agents can get in there, grab leads, do whatever they can to make something happen.
Yeah, I will tell you that one of the biggest things when you're doing the lead game, and I would tell this to anybody working the phones anywhere at any point in time, whether it's mortgages or you have to have a script as far as following a process by which that you want to collect the data, but do not sound scripty because people in today's
Reading
world,
with the paper.
Yeah, you're done because somebody will smell that out, like sniff that out in 2 seconds.
100%.
You got to make it your own. You got to be able to personalize yourself as quickly as possible with the person on the other side of the phone, because otherwise, it's a lot easier to tell someone to fuck off if they don't know who you are or think of you as a human.
Well, and you have to have a goal on the call. It might not be closing.
Mm-hmm.
It might be, hey, when can I call you next, right? Depending on how the beginning of that phone call goes. But like, I remember when I first started at Quicken, I was just like, I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I don't even know what a mortgage is.
Yeah.
So people call, I'd be like, I just go off on tangents, and they're like, "What are you doing, dude?"
Yeah.
So that didn't last very long. But
when I first started at Quicken, I wrote 28 loans my first month on the floor. This is how crazy it was back then, and I didn't know anything. I didn't have to be licensed or anything. Yeah, it was good.
Were they refis?
All of them were refis. I didn't
Yeah.
know none of them. All of them were refis.
As a purchase banker, I was like,
way more
like
complicated.
a pre-approval versus a PA in hand. I was like, okay,
way more complicated.
like what's a real estate agent do?
Yeah.
That's like how sad it was. Like when I started there, and it was a new region to their credit, so I'm sure the training and maybe I was just dense and didn't get it.
No, dude,
that's possible.
It's much more complicated. It's much more. I will tell you that when I started doing purchases at Quicken, and I got an award at one point for doing the most purchases in our region. Long story short. Even back then, I didn't understand the nuances that was necessary. I didn't understand a purchase transaction at all.
Yeah.
And it was. And I don't know how I even did. I can't believe I wrote purchases not knowing knowing as little as I did, because I thought everything was a refi. That's all I did.
Well, essentially, we were ISAs.
Yeah.
That weren't. I mean, we were licensed.
Not for me though.
Right, but we were like. We never walked into the appointment, right?
Yeah.
We never actually met the client face to face or saw what they're. So we were like,
Yeah,
man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go, and obviously the people that were there longer and maybe had done other parts of the business before knew what they were doing, and they're trying to convey it. But to a kid who was doing keg stands, a year earlier or 6 months earlier, it was like, okay, yeah, we can do a mortgage.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, so let's go back to your story, Zach. Mr. Zach Jones. You ever get that a lot?
All the time.
I get it all the time. You got it. So you became you were in ISA. So you graduated to what at that point?
So before obviously like I said, I didn't show a home or do anything for a year. I was not going to go in to be a listing agent. That's just not what I wanted to do.
Right.
I actually thought I would want to go out and show the home, and
Yeah.
I like looking at homes, and that was cool. I had a great job. So I was actually getting trained by 2 agents at the time, Garrett Huffman and Sandy Radin.
Okay.
Garrett's with EXP still. Sandy's still on our team. She crushes it with Mark. She's been with them, I think, like 12 years or 13 years.
Got it.
Sold 100 homes in a year. She's awesome. So I was...
Which, by the way, is a testament that for Mark to have people that have been on the team for that long. That means he's probably a pretty good leader, and he's probably taking care of his people.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's, one reason I stay there. I'm definitely super happy because I get anything I need, or if there's something I don't know, I'm either going to Mark or I'm going to Sandy or I'm going to Kurt Shewell, our sales manager right now. But, there's always, if there's something I don't know, I can find it out.
That's awesome.
And, for me, so I started getting trained by Sandy Radin and Garrett Huffman. And
To do what? To be a
showing partner.
Showing partner. Okay,
Or showing assistant, whatever.
Got
I was
it.
their assistant with that client.
Got it.
So I would go out, show them 25 homes. Great, you found this house. All right. You don't want me to write the offer because I wouldn't have a clue how to fill out the paperwork at the time. So, and that's how I would tell people. I was like, my job is literally just to show you houses and find your house.
Yeah.
And Sandy, she's been with Mark for 10 years, however long. She's going to get this done for you as soon as possible and get your offer accepted because that's what you want.
Right.
So I'm out just showing homes all day long, kicking it back to them. At one point, I think it was like my 5th or 6th month doing showing partner stuff, did 16 deals in a month.
Jeez.
And
that's a lot of deals, people. Everybody knows.
It was super cool. I have not hit 16 again yet. I was really close last year with 13, and I think it was June or July.
Yeah.
But I was the buyer agent on that end. But me doing the showing partner deals was great because I'm showing houses from 9 a.m. till about 7 a.m. Once I'm done with showings, I'm not doing any more paperwork. I was going home.
Yeah.
So, and they were handling everything off, paperwork and things like that, talking to you guys, lenders, getting pre-approvals. I just showed the homes, which gave me the opportunity to, once I got someone under contract with Sandy, I was learning the process the whole time. Throughout, I was attending the inspections, doing those. Didn't go to appraisals or anything like that. But at the end of the day, I would just go to Sandy, hey, what's next with Jim here? After the inspection, what are you doing? And just things like that. And that's how I learned. And doing a bunch of deals as a showing partner helped me, eventually do it on my own.
As for someone who wants to get in the business, starting on a team like that and learning each part of it before you actually, are in the
really good, man.
Before you're playing in the big game, like you get to know the defense, the offense, this, that, right? Like you get to know
It's really valuable.
the whole game before you even start. A lot of people just get licensed, right?
Here's
and
a
they're
phone
calling
book,
me
dude.
like,
Here's the
hey,
phone
man,
book, exactly.
I mean, it's crazy, dude. Like
Training's huge.
I've like had to say so many times in the past 3 years, I'm not a realtor, right?
Dude.
I'll tell you how to write the PA,
Dude, how many times have you heard?
but
hey,
don't put it on me.
From agents?
Yeah.
Like,
How many times have you heard?
how
hey,
much should I put for the down payment? 3%, dude.
What
Can
should I
you-
write on
Don't
the
even put a
account?
number, just put the percentage.
Well,
that's how I
mean,
fill mine
what's
out.
the loan amount then?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
it's like,
tough.
hey,
It's
dude,
like
how do
200
how
times
should I word this
0.97.
addendum? How should I word this addendum? I don't know.
Well, I can understand that because they want the underwriters to have it a certain way sometimes, like
Sure, but
removing an EMD or something like that. But
And that would have been me. If I was out showing homes and handling all the paperwork, and that would have been me. I would have been asking the other agent in the end, man,
it's very-
is this okay?
it's very often I get a call like, what about this? Like, and it's like, who's paying for transfer taxes? Who's paying for, I'm like, listen, I mean, here's how it normally goes, but don't you have a broker? Don't you have a broker?
Right.
Why are you asking me? Like, I'll tell you, but like, why don't you run it past the person whose license is on the line?
Well,
and not me.
Because
Like,
there's not enough oversight. They're not getting enough from it.
they don't
There's
have
no-
enough
yeah,
from
that's
it,
a
and
team,
that's
yeah.
what's important when you're learning this business, to have a really good team, I think, around you where you can fall back and ask questions or do that. You can never, for anyone who's new out there, whether it's this, that, another job, car salesman, whatever,
Yeah.
you can never look stupid by finding the truth, even if it takes a little bit longer, right?
Oh yeah. And if
Hey,
you
let me
ask
get back to
Sandy
you.
and Garrett about them training me,
You were annoying.
I was annoying as hell.
Perfect.
I was so annoying.
Annoying,
Oh, yeah.
annoying salespeople are always the best because they want to know everything. And I always tell
You can
people,
only look stupid by guessing and being wrong.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right?
And,
Like,
I did not want to be wrong. That was one thing. Is like I did not want to give someone wrong information and them hold me to it.
Right.
And that would be terrible.
I mean, you can't always be right, but you can always try your best. And for me to say, hey, listen, I don't know exactly. Let me get right back to you. I'll call you back. It's fine if I text you or call you back in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you give them the answer they want as opposed to,
maybe this is how it
yeah,
should be.
no, I think it's like, 2% or you're paying this. And then at the closing table, what, you told me this?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No,
So you got to that point. Then what happened?
So doing those, so in about a year, in the second year, so I pretty much started in November when I first. So another year later, I started being a showing partner in November. Around another year later, which was 2018, the start of that. That's when I went out and started generating stuff of my own and being a buyer agent, showing my own homes, and handling the paperwork. I remember the very first time I ever had to write an offer, which was one from my best friend's sister that I was working with, one of my first clients. Called Garrett. Hey, man, I'm writing up an offer. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. Can you help me with the paperwork? He said, no.
Your turn.
Nope. Yeah. Go ahead. Fill out all the docs. Do everything. You know where to find them. You know what you have. You know all the terms and everything. Just go and put it on the paper. It took me like an hour to write this offer.
He threw you in the deep end. You had to learn how to swim at that point.
Exactly.
That's
so
smart.
Yeah,
it's good leadership.
But the thing is I didn't send the client first. So he went in, checked it, and then said, you messed this entire thing up, but I fixed it, and you can see what I fixed here. I just sent you copies of everything.
Right.
So I got to see exactly what I was doing wrong and on the PA. So I was super lucky to have someone that just checks my offers that I'm sending.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have that other agent think
that contract, just so everybody understands, that contract's super important. It's a legal document, and if you mess it up, you can really put people in a bad spot.
You can lose people thousands of dollars.
It's pretty crazy how light, and that's what I always say, like for a FSBO, listen, brother, I am not a realtor. Here's a PA, right, from the title company.
It's dangerous, man.
I'm going to help you fill it out the best of my ability, but don't put it on me and sign this waiver or whatever, because you should go talk to an attorney or a real estate agent if you really want to do it right.
Yeah.
And that's like why you list with an agent or why you buy with an agent versus doing a FSBO sometimes. Now, there's obviously those opportunities where, hey, I'm buying from a family member or whatever, right? Why get up the commission? But at the same time, like, why put yourself out there for disputes and this and that and after the agreement,
We've all heard the horror stories.
Yeah, we've seen them, dude. We see them all the time. So that's awesome, man. So let me ask you a few things. So like, obviously you're seeing success. You've got a great team around you. It sounds like that's a really important piece of your success. But as far as you and what it took to be successful, starting out in this industry and getting to the point where you are, I think it's valuable for other agents out there that are in similar situations to hear kind of what it took to, and it's taking, because it's not going to stop, right? No. To be successful and continue success in this business, because it's difficult. Our business is not easy.
No, and the consistency, I would think, would be the most important thing.
So that's a question. So what's your mentality on consistency?
For me, it's time blocking, and I was so bad at it for a long time.
Yeah.
And even now, and for the last few months, my thing has been the prospecting. Still, is the backbone of the ISA.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be at the office every morning at 8 a.m. and I'm jumping on dialer or I'm calling.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call until 11.
Yeah.
Even like our closing coordinator, which I haven't got to him yet, but I tell him, like, do not schedule a closing before 11. Don't, like, I'm
not there, yeah.
Because I'm not going to do it.
Right.
I can't do it. I have to make these calls or I'm not going to have a closing 90 days down the road.
So you hold that sacred. Like that's a non-negotiable for you.
100%.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
The only thing that would take away from it is doing something cool like this. But so I didn't get to make all my calls today.
Right. Yeah.
But I still have tonight to do it. So I'm going to make those calls. But that's going to, get your business. Obviously, we still have leads coming in every day too, which is great. But guess what? I'm still chasing business. I'm mainly as a buyer agent for Mark. I don't take Mark's listings. We have, pros that have been doing it for years and years.
Yeah.
So my job is I'm going to generate my listings on my own.
Right.
And I've been successful doing it. I think I've put up 5 this month.
That's great. That's
so
good. That's really good.
It's good. I think 3 hitting the market like in the next few days.
That's really good.
What I think a lot of people fail to realize is that their listing is marketing.
Yeah.
Right? It's a lead gen.
It can
be. It can be a lead gen if you work it right.
Utilized correctly. Yeah.
Whether it's posting on Facebook and trying to get leads off of that, whether
even
it's
your
the
sign
open
in the
house,
yard.
whether it's
even the
circle marketing. And a lot of people are like, yeah, I do a ton of listings. I don't really have any buyers.
Well,
why?
Think about it this way. You get a listing. All right, odds are if they sell that house, they have to buy a new one, right?
Odds are.
Just most of the time.
Yeah,
it doesn't always happen. It could be an investment property.
But it's so weird how these guys that do a lot of listings don't end up doing the buy side.
It blows my mind.
But you find out when you actually talk to them that they're just kind of complacent with, hey, I'm making, $700,000 a year, listing a lot of homes. Well, dude, you could hire a whole team to get more out of it.
100%.
Right?
I mean, how many yard sign calls did you miss? I mean, being an independent agent, this is like my biggest fear, and what I hear, because I do chase down a lot of expired listings, is my agent never called me. Wow, that blows my mind. You were going to pay them, 2.5%, 3% to sell your house, and they never called you back?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So we're doing a whole ad campaign in Real Producers, and literally it's all based around people not calling back. Even loan officers, right? Even loan officers, like when an agent calls a loan officer, that loan officer a lot of times doesn't call back, or they don't call. You talk to him for like 2 days, and
it
it's
happened to a client of mine just recently where he called him back, and we're like, "Man, we're closing in a week."
That's super fucked up. You know what I mean? That's super fucked up. Like it's
we couldn't get a hold of you on the weekend, so we had to get my guy to give him a pre-approval letter.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: what do you say? Because look, obviously, when you have a team and they have a system like that, it costs money, and as a real estate agent, it's designed that you have all the support in the world. By design, you're going to get paid less per deal. I mean,
100%.
there's no way around it, right? There's costs involved in having this whole infrastructure. So what do you say to the person that says, "Oh, you know what? I don't want to give up that much money. I'm just going to go do it on my own." What are the benefits of having the team around you?
So in what I do now, so I was telling you how I jumped in doing all my own deals, showings and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, I got to a point to where I was too busy for it. I couldn't go out and show 2-3 people houses because I was already booked.
Right.
So now delegating, other buyers agents on our team, we turn them into showing partners.
Right.
And a lot of the new agents, this is how they start too, because they don't know what to do.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that's what my main business is. Like I told you, I love the prospecting thing. I love lead generating. I love taking the inbound leads and the calls. So what I do now is generate all, buyer leads and, things, showings and appointments for our buyer agents, and I send them out.
Right.
That way, if they're at a house and they don't know something, they have a question, I'm going to be at the office. They can call me.
Right.
Hey, Bob and Susie want to know how much this house is really worth. They think it's overpriced. I'm going to be at the office. I can shoot out a market analysis to them before they get home. That's my thing now is, helping these guys train and be able to do it on their own. And for me, I'm still getting deals while being at the office, and they're out showing homes. I'm generating their next appointment for them while they're there.
Right.
And they don't have to.
So So I'm going to play devil's advocate and kind of give you an objection, right?
Okay.
And I want to see how you handle it. So basically, okay, yeah, I like what you're saying, but I want to know who I'm working with. I don't want to be handed off.
Fantastic. You know what? When's the best time you can come to my office and visit me for 20 minutes?
That's it, right? And then really,
and once you see the office, I promise you, you will not go anywhere else. You'll love it.
Yeah.
Wait till you see the team in action.
And for you, and this is just it's got to be good on some level. Again, there's pros and cons to everything, I think. But the reality is, if someone needs to go see a house and you're just a single agent, it's going to take you much longer to get them to that house.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas you have a team and boom, let's go look at it.
Who's available to show this house at 5:00? I have 4 agents. Hey, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, and it's all relatable to every business too. And I think sometimes people have to understand that when you're talking to someone, like, what do you mean you're not gonna do my whole entire loan? It's
Right.
like, well, I'd love to, but I can't clone myself. And if I want to build my business, I need to have people to do things for me.
Because we get that.
or help out with
getting passed on and forget or something.
We're always
that.
we're
It's
always
all about
the expectation.
Yeah. Like,
How do you
hey,
set it?
listen, he's going to help set up the documents. That's what he's really good at, and that's what I have him doing. And she's going to help collect them all after with the fact, right? And us 3 are going to work together to make sure that this gets start to finish very smoothly, and it always usually does.
Yeah.
Right? So,
And if for me too is, I still like to go out and show homes. So I don't ever don't go out and show homes. Like if someone said, hey, if I'm working with you, I want to meet you, I'll go out and show it with, like I said, I have a little 19-year-old guy, Pearson, right now working with me. Hey, I'm going to go on a couple of his first appointments with him because I remember when I just started too, I was 24 and terrified. First off, I don't know what I was asking him. And then what do you think the other client that you're meeting thinks when they see a 19-year-old kid come to a showing?
It's a tough, it's a hurdle.
It's
a hurdle
huge.
right off the bat.
So, he can say, great, I work with Zach. He's been in the business 4 years, does this, but I talked to him on the phone and I set the appointment up, or I followed up with him for a few weeks before that appointment. So they know who I am,
right?
But they didn't meet me. And a lot of times, some people are completely cool with it. They'll go with one of my other showing partners. They really like them.
Yeah.
And I'll come to the closing. I always go to the closing, so I definitely always meet them.
Right.
But at the end of the day, and there's other agents too that I just go, hey, Like if I have a down day or I have a few hours, I'm like, are you showing anyone? You know, I'll go out and show. I'll go out and meet them.
It's activity. You're keeping yourself active regardless of what happens, right?
Yeah, and I'm asking them for referrals before we even get an offer out. So it's like, hey, who else you know looking? Like
That's awesome.
And I still definitely get out there and show a lot of properties.
Yeah, it's funny because it sounds like you guys have a really good system over there, and because you're just talking about, you're passionate about it. I like that because a lot of times, Sal, on the outside looking in, you see these guys that do a good job marketing, and people kind of shit on them, like, oh, Mark Z, he buys all the billboards, or what's his name, Glover, he's all over the place, and people are like, oh, he sucks, he's an asshole, right? But the reality is they're probably really good guys, they're probably building a really good team, and people are pissed because they're doing well.
Oh, Glover's team crushes it, man. So do we, and like those guys are still in the business. I'm sure Jeff goes out on listing appointments and so does Mark.
Yeah.
And even Jeff, like what I like about Jeff Glover, and I've never met him, I don't know anything about him, but I love his stuff he's putting out right now for that Glover U.
Yeah.
A lot of good info.
He's just giving value.
Yeah.
Right? He's just giving free value to everybody.
No, it's super cool. I like that stuff.
Yeah, so it is interesting because we have a lot of agents come in here. Everybody's successful in their own way, and some people are successful just having one or two people with them, and they're the point of contact. They're handling everything. There's other people that have the teams around them, and I don't think there's one right way or wrong way. It's just a matter of how do you service the client, and does the client walk away happy? Because ultimately, that's all that matters.
And I think people forget those guys that it's easy to point a finger at and say whatever about like Mark C or Jeff Glover or whatever, like that they had to start somewhere too. They were, and they worked together. If you didn't know, I think Jeff and Mark were cold calling together.
Yeah,
back
in
the
day.
They were in the same office. At some point, they were not real estate agents.
Exactly. And Mark was going to be a doctor.
Yeah, is that what he wanted to do?
Yeah, he got a degree from like U of M or something. He was going to be a doctor.
No shit.
He ended up in real estate.
You can't discount people for that. And if they've been successful, there's obviously something to say about it, right?
So. For a team that does volume, I think it's a good indicator of what our market is doing. And I personally think that the market is really, really healthy right now. I think we're going to have in our company one of our best months ever. Dead of winter, short month, right? Mm-hmm. So, from your perspective, just from what you're seeing, you just pulled up numbers and shit. Okay, all right, bro.
You want to talk about the market? And
let's talk about it.
This is something Mark just put out the other day. Did you see the video?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Those are stats.
Yeah.
It's not what he thinks is happening.
So tell the audience.
Facts. So right now, you had the median sales price 2017, and so these are all January months.
Yeah, by the way, this is Metro Detroit for everybody out there.
Correct. So. This is not nationally. Metro Detroit in 2017, the average sales price was 141, bumped up to 153 in 18, and 153. It was exactly the same in January this year.
Okay.
Now, the other thing is the big thing, I think, in my opinion, especially being a buyer's agent, I have people looking at houses, is the inventory.
Yeah.
Right?
Inventory's up.
January 2017, you had 25,000 homes for sale. 18, you had 21,000 homes for sale. This January, there's only 19,000 homes for sale.
Oh, there's less houses this year.
So inventory is still way down. I think Mark said it was like the lowest it's been in like 10 years or something.
That surprises me because it is more of a buyer's market right now, I feel like. I feel like...
I don't run into as many bidding wars as I did in the summer.
Right. And people are contingent offers are getting accepted. You might be able to get concessions right now. Where a year ago...
I got $7,000 concessions last week.
That's what I'm saying.
It was insane.
But that's what I'm saying. A year ago, that was not happening.
No.
You were getting beat out by cash offers left and right.
I remember putting in a cash offer, 20,000 over asking, and saying that we'd beat any offer by $1,000 and still got beat by $10,000.
That's what I'm saying. So I think we're in a healthier market, much healthier market. Keep going through the stats. I like this.
Yeah, no, the pending deals. So pending deals are up. So inventory is still down. You got in 2017, you had 5,900 pending deals. And just this year, 6,100 in January.
So those of you that have been talking about the end of the real estate market for the last year and a half and how it's gonna crash, like it is healthy.
Don't buy in the hype.
It is healthy. The news media is going to talk about the doom and gloom. People, this negativity sells, but the reality is, guys, the market is super healthy. Interest rates are super fucking low, right? We're locking people at 4.25% on 30-year fixes. Right?
I think, and ultimately, it's a kind of like a perfect storm of conditions that now allows people who couldn't buy in those crazy times where there's cash offers saying we'll beat any deal.
Yeah.
How's a dude who has an FHA pre-approval going to find his dream home, right?
Yeah.
Tough.
And now it's like there's more matches being made, and that's probably even with less inventory, right?
Mm-hmm.
The conditions are right for people to get these homes. The market has, I don't want to say flattened out, but it's not as unhealthy as far. I mean,
it was overheating, dude.
Yeah, it was getting a little crazy.
It was nuts.
It was getting a little crazy out there.
Nuts.
And it's nuts because even with inventory going down still, prices are still going up.
Yeah.
I haven't seen too many appraisal guarantees since
Not
August,
lately.
No.
right?
I haven't wrote one in a while.
Yeah. And that's because
I'm glad
so many
I
were
haven't.
right, and so many were written that those values have sustained, right? Like those pushed up the values everywhere. So now it's like appraisal's not really a problem. We don't have to worry too much. You can get the concessions you needed. You can sell your house and buy a new one
This is
and
what
get
we
a
wanted.
contingent offer accepted, right?
We've
So
been asking for.
the slew of people, like only our 10% of our pipeline was able to actually convert based upon
Strongest
who they were,
buyers.
right? Strongest buyers. And
Those
now
buyers
it's like,
still want to buy. You know what I mean?
everyone else still wants to buy a
They
home.
still want to buy. So the market is healthy. And like I said earlier, dude, the price of money is super, super fucking low. So like if I'm a buyer right now, in my opinion, because I do think the spring's it's gonna get busy.
100%.
It's gonna get really
Yeah.
busy in the spring. I mean, people are gonna be listing their houses. People are gonna be out there buying. If we're this busy in February, like it's gonna get busy, bro. Right? So it's like, and by the way, what you put in right now is what you'll get in the spring, right? All the business that you got now is all the work that you did like 3-4 months ago. And people don't get that in our business. Sometimes it's like, oh, I had a busy month. And it's like, yeah, that's because you worked 3 months ago. Well, what did you do today, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's a big part of our business is, back to your point, doing all the right things, doing the blocking and tackling up front.
Yep. And then, like I said, I don't even want to go out and show a house before 3 o'clock because I have, if other than my prospecting outbound stuff, is I got to follow up with everyone that I've been talking to already every day.
Yeah.
So I try to keep that as strict as I can. Obviously, sometimes I can only see this house at noon today and got to go out and do it. You know, but at the end of the day, I just gotta, if I can't do something, I'm gonna send an agent out that can cover for me.
Yeah.
They're always covered.
You have to be regimented.
Yeah.
And I think that as someone who's often downstream in the process, as a loan officer, we're usually like where the buck stops when it comes to this person, when they started, and then it's referred to us, and then they close, right? And I can see from my agents, man, I'm really slow. And it's typically after we had a monster month because they were so focused in their business
They
and
weren't
not
working
on
on
their
their other
business.
stuff.
It's tough, man. It's a tough economy. So that's awesome, man. So talk to me about one thing. So what's a good month for you? Like as far as like give me some numbers from you personally, like what a good month means to you.
A good month for me, it's not so much units. I like the volume. So like $1 million a month. I mean, if I don't do $1 million, I'm gonna be pretty pissed at myself.
Yeah.
Um,
What's the best month you've ever had?
3.5.
That's pretty big.
That
man.
was
It's a
just in
monster month,
July.
yeah.
And
That's a big month.
that was the 13 homes. I mean, I did 16, but I wasn't the buyer agent.
I gotcha.
So I was a showing partner for those, so they weren't my deals.
Got it.
So now in just it was June or July, I can't remember, but it was 13 deals for like $3.5 million.
That's huge, dude.
And
That's a big month.
It was awesome, and I think,
people don't do that
five
all
or six
year.
of them were on my own, but the rest of them were all my showing partners.
Yeah.
And they're making money too. It's great.
It's everybody's
it's a
helping each
monster
other
month.
out. That's a huge.
was
Some people
awesome.
don't do that all year, bro. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Most people don't do that all year, to be honest. You know, if you go into Real Comp and look at top 100 realtors in the state, it gets down to like 4 million or so at like.
As they say, 90% of real estate is sold by the top 10% of real agents in the country. I think that's
Yeah,
the number.
that's
Something
probably
like that.
literally-
Well, it's probably like one, and it's funny because
probably one.
honestly, like when you look at all that, like, and you see these like accolades that people put in their email signatures,
Yeah.
ranked top 1%
Wall
of
Street
realtors
Journal.
nationwide. Well, yeah,
Well,
there's like
there's a billion
30,000 of
agents,
them.
Yeah, everyone's
there's
in the
more
top
than
1%
30,000.
Yeah.
somewhere on some list.
So everybody's,
Yeah.
everybody's got some kind of list somewhere, but the reality, like some of the agents are dead, but their license is still going on. You know what I mean? Keller
Yeah.
Williams just did the whole thing where they're like, because their number count of people is X amount of people, but they're like, dude, like there's like 20% of the people that we have listed, they're ghosts. They're just not there.
Yeah.
They just hang their license.
Yeah.
I think it's important to not compare yourself as much to others as it is to yourself, right?
Oh,
you're chasing that
agree.
3.5 every
Yeah.
single day
Yeah, that's
that
your
you
next
wake up.
benchmark, right?
4.
Oh yeah, all day long. And
Force-
well, that's another thing, which is like for this year, I'm really focusing on listings to make sure I can do that 1 month this year. Like this year, like I said, I got 5 listings coming up. I haven't not had a month where I have 5 listings coming.
Yeah.
So that's cool, and I'm still working with the same amount of buyers.
That's awesome.
So I definitely am gonna add. Probably my goal is to sell, not list, 20 to 25 homes, and add that onto my 50 last year. So
That's wild.
the
So
goal is obviously working with the same amount of buyers.
You
I
want
wanna
to get
do
to 100.
I want to do 100 buyer deals.
Yeah, that's what you want.
So if I get 20 listings, I'm not going to be mad. I won't be mad.
Right.
But
No.
it's, that's what I want to do is definitely take the listings to help boost the business, because any listing that I get is going to be, I think what we did like a little survey on our yard signs and things like that. I think we get 7 calls off of each one of our yard signs within
7.
like the first week.
That's pretty
typically.
Sweet. That's good.
So
Those are 7 leads.
if I get a listing and I get 7 calls, that's 7 possible buyers that I may work with.
Yeah.
So if I get more listings, I'm going to get more buyers, and it all goes
do you
together.
guys do open houses or no?
All the time.
All the time.
So that's what I'm doing every single Saturday,
Yeah.
12 to 2, Saturday or Sunday. I'm
Yeah.
definitely doing one every weekend. And like I was telling you about the 19-year-old kid, Pearson.
Yeah.
So Pearson is just started. He's been with us for, I think, 3 or 4 months, and he is obsessed with open houses now. And he's still not on the phone yet. And Pearson, if you're watching this, you should be calling people. But you should be calling people. But we did an open house in Royal Oak. I think it was like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
About 25 freaking people come in.
Yeah.
And we ended up working with 3 buyers from that open house.
Wow.
So we got 2 of them under contract in a week.
Yeah.
And he went nuts. He's like, this is amazing.
I'm doing them all the time.
all the time. So I'm like, hell yeah, man. So let's do one next weekend. This one's going to be in West Bloomfield. Same price. So we should get, a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
No one showed up.
Yeah.
No one showed
Well,
up.
that's the open house. You never
Yeah.
really know, and it's always funny because the agent will be like, "Dude, it's gonna be hype. It's the biggest thing of 2018."
They got flags going down like
Oh,
14
yeah.
miles
we
of the
got
road. Yeah.
we got pizza.
We do it hardcore too. Like we're putting out 20 signs
Yeah.
all over the neighborhood,
yeah,
every
yeah.
corner. We're having
Yeah.
signs everywhere,
Yeah.
and we had nobody.
I've been to a bunch. I've
It
been
can
to,
happen.
Yeah,
You
I've been
know,
to
it
a bunch of
depends.
open houses where like it's really busy, and the other ones are like, "Hey, you want a cookie?"
Well, you have to think about the standard buyer in that neighborhood, and you can never really know. But obviously, Royal Oak, what was the purchase price? Like,
220.
Perfect.
Had an offer on it within 10 hours.
Largest,
Yeah, you did.
largest deviation of buyers probably out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to like kind of wrap up, I mean, we're gonna have you back on because obviously you had all the tech, but like,
I'll do it again.
I
like it.
I will tell you that what I have gotten out of this, Sal, is that Mark Z has created an ability for someone that's getting into the business to have success pretty quickly, and they've got a system in place by which they're servicing the clients, because ultimately you also have to have a good reputation on top of all that, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And people still gonna want to call you, but the best thing, like, where can you go to where, hey, an experienced agent is gonna hand you a pre-approved buyer and say, go show them houses, and I'm gonna split my commission with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's why, and we're still looking for people.
And
so
learn along the way.
Exactly.
You learn
Like,
a lot.
for me, that was the biggest thing ever, and I think it made the world of a difference for me. And I was very set on this is how I'm gonna do it.
Let me ask you this, because this is a big problem that teams like you have is like once you become autonomous and you realize that you can potentially do your own business when you don't need as much support.
Yeah.
How does Mark and your team and everybody keep the good agents around that potentially could go somewhere else and just do half the business and make the same amount of money?
You gotta like the grind. I think
Yeah.
to stay on the team, you gotta like grinding, picking up the phone every day.
Yeah.
And a lot of you can make the same amount of money, sell half the homes.
Yeah.
But for me, and I'm still I'm only 27.
Right.
I'm still building relationships with a ton of people, and I'm now starting to see that in referrals.
Yeah.
And what I would think is, I'm still gonna meet so many more people.
Yeah.
Being on Z's team.
Yeah.
And generate more relationships with people down the road that these people, maybe I'll go on my own one day, but like definitely not right now.
If you haven't been doing this for 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
why do you care about splits?
No.
Right?
Yeah,
It's
you want
crazy. Like,
experience. You want
I'm
reps.
going to get 95% here. It's like, okay, hopefully you have a really good base of generating your own business because
You get one for great.
yeah,
Look,
Great. what if you sold 5
Yeah.
yeah,
for half that?
right.
Listen, I don't think there's anything healthier than being able to create your own referral base and creating that type of business. But there is nothing that substitutes the repetitions that you can get and the volume that you're getting right now. And a lot of times, people even I've seen people leave and go do their own thing. They were on teams. They don't have the oversight. And they lose the drive, and all of a sudden it all falls apart.
And you see them come back to the teams too.
Yeah.
And it's as easy as saying, I want to go be a pro golfer or I want to start golfing, right? It's easy to go out and buy a set of clubs, right?
Yeah.
You have every ability to be on that course and play a great game. But are you going to smash your club onto the ground after you
Hit the
fail?
ball in the water?
Yeah. Or are you going to go to the range and hit,
Sal got clubs. Oh, I thought you were sneezing. I was going to say.
I do, yeah.
So say Sal got clubs. He's used them twice, I think, 2
Attaboy.
times.
Play some golf.
3.
Yeah, 3 times. This is
I like to go out.
This is gonna be his 3rd year. No, he likes to go out and drink.
It's a hell of a time.
He's hilarious to be on the course with. He's so much fun, but golf is not his thing.
No,
Athletics really isn't. So
Damn.
not very athletic, but very, very good looking and does great on mortgages. So
Okay, I like it. You got something.
You gotta be good at something, I guess.
yeah. So dude, I know the show has been kind of really screwed up because of the weather, but I do want to do what we do on our show is we do 3 questions. I don't know if you've heard this.
I don't know. Maybe I didn't watch this part.
Yeah,
of the
so
show.
it's usually at the end. So if you haven't seen it, it means you haven't watched the full episode. So or listen to it. So listen, we do 3 questions. We ask you, and then you just give your whatever pops in your head. So the first question we ask everybody is, what scares Zach Jones?
My phone stops ringing.
Yeah,
That's fucking terrifying. If I don't know where my next deal, how am I gonna pay my bill?
That's
awesome. Terrifying.
because that's how I feel.
What if
My phone's not ringing. I feel I have a pit in my stomach. Right?
No,
so you're like that too.
That's when you got to start
that's
dialing.
the first one that came to my head?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's when you got to pick it back up.
That's when you better pick up that heavy phone.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good. If you could have dinner with anybody, anywhere, who would it be and why?
Oh man, I want to say Rob Deerdeck. I think Rob Deerdeck would be the coolest dude
He's actually
to
a really
hang out
smart
with.
dude, business wise too.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's a
You
genius.
just shoot the shit with him for a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Super funny too, I think.
yeah, he's
I,
awesome.
I used to skateboard back in the day. I guess that's kind
You
of
did?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You don't see like it.
Oh no.
I feel like you're too clean cut.
No, I had long hair,
No, I
man.
can
Back
see
in the
it.
day,
You
it was
did?
cool.
You see
I can
it?
see it.
Oh
You
yeah.
see it? All right.
It wasn't that good.
Yeah.
It wasn't that good. But I really think Rob Deerdeck is super cool, and he's a huge entrepreneur. So
Yeah,
him or Grant. I've met Grant Cardone, but I would like to kick it with him.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
I met
Okay,
him down in
Grant's come up
Texas.
a couple times actually.
Yeah.
Grant, if you're listening
Grant's
to our
cool
show.
guy.
And then if you could be one animal, what would it be and why? In the animal kingdom, anything. It could be an insect. Insects count too.
Insects.
Yeah.
A monkey would be cool. Swing from some trees.
Yeah. That would be pretty sweet.
That's the first.
I don't
monkey.
know.
That's the first monkey.
A
we've
monkey.
ever got.
I mean, it's nice to have opposable thumbs.
Everyone loves monkeys, right?
Yeah, the opposable
Not
thumbs
an
are
orangutan.
important.
I watched some video on Netflix yesterday with this ugly looking orangutan.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
want to
they're-
be one of those.
No.
Nasty.
What kind of ape would you be?
Shit.
Like a silverback, or are we talking like a chimpanzee?
Oh, chimpanzee would be cool.
Yeah.
Just
Chimpanzee.
swing and throw
Yeah,
stuff.
you
at
want to be a
people.
chimpanzee?
Yeah.
You throw shit at people.
Yeah.
Rip people's faces off.
Oh no.
Dude, have you seen that?
Don't wanna
one
bring
chick
that
had
one
a
up.
chimpanzee as a pet.
It was like her life partner.
Yeah, she loved it.
Oh, I
and
think
it-
I did.
And
That
it
was-
ate her
That was like
face.
last year, wasn't
It
it?
ate her face.
I don't know.
I think it. Yeah, I don't know.
So, Zach, tell the audience how they can get a hold of you, man.
All right. So I have my own website. It's sold by ZachJones.com. Great.
That's pretty good.
So check that out. Got homes everywhere. Or you can hit my cell phone up, 734-752-1718. Or just stop into our office. If you Google Mark Z's office, you'll find that address.
It's pretty sweet. They have a fish tank or a shark tank.
Yeah.
Say the number one more time, man.
My phone number is 734-752-1718.
Awesome. So that's our show. Jessica, thank you so much for making it in. I know today was just really
My
screwed up.
pleasure.
So-
I'm sorry.
No, it's nothing to be sorry about. This is just this weather, dude. Every show we've had the last 3 weeks has been fucked.
I can honestly say my car has never been frozen shut before, so that
It
is
was
the
shut
first for me.
So for those of you listening across the country and world, and I know there's Brazil, like all of you, like do not come to Michigan between there's a 3-week window that Michigan's awesome.
It's like the day after Christmas until like March.
Dude, it just I don't know,
It
man.
needs to heat up.
I don't know. Polar vortex. Fuck you.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Let's
So,
not complain about the weather. Too
I'm
much.
so upset.
What are you gonna do about it?
Nothing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go out
yeah.
there and
I'm
go
going to
to
have
work.
to go drive to my office now in the
Yeah.
shitty weather.
You know.
Dude, Zach, thank you so much, man. I see you doing a lot of good stuff. I'm super excited to watch your career grow, and
Thank you.
you're actually a nice guy. I didn't expect
Appreciate
that.
it. Oh.
So, all right,
I
everybody.
appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
everybody. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Nice.
You've been listening to Inside Real Estate, the nation's top real estate podcast.